Well, hello, my loves, and happy Sunday to you. So today I am going to be sharing one of my most requested techniques or things that I do. And what I'm going to be doing at least once a month on my Sunday Inspirations is sharing a specific technique or supply and how I use it and go into detail a little bit on the technique. And then do a quick project for you. That'll be once a month. So I've got some really fun things planned for Sunday Inspirations moving forward. So I'm excited about that. We've got the collage paper challenge that we'll be doing, and each month. So we're going to have a lot of fun. And I recently, my husband and I were able to get away for a little bit, and we went to Florida. And we got doctor's clearance and all was okay to travel. It was interesting trying to get him through security with the defibrillator and all that kind of stuff, but we did it. We made it. But I got a little sun, and my face is peeling, and I've got fever, like sun blisters. But that's what happens when you never go outside of the studio and you're from Ohio. So anyway, but we had a great time. So today's project is inspired from that trip, and I can't wait to share that with you. I'm going to be sharing how I print on tissue paper, and I'll be using printed tissue paper for our project today. Let's see, what else do I need to tell you? I don't think there's anything else. Oh, yes, a couple of downloads and papers will be available for you for free in the free subscriber library. And members, you will, of course, have that in the membership, along with the additional breakdown of today's Sunday Inspiration. Okay, so let's dive in. So I have out here a 12 by 12 wood panel, which is what I'll be creating on. And this is the piece of tissue paper that I printed out, and it's got a little bit of an ocean, some palm trees, and some kind of traffic signs, because I want my piece to be kind of grungy and kind of urban. And so this sheet will be available for you to download if you want in the subscriber library and in the membership. And I'll show you the tissue paper in just a second. So I'll set that aside. Then I have also out here some scraps from my table. And then, let's see, these, I've got some brayer off sheets that I thought were grungy good that might find its way into my project. This is available in the subscriber library and the membership for free. These two are part of a collage pack in the shop that's like rusty metal, grungy walls and different things like that. So I'll have the link to that. All the links to the supplies will be in the YouTube description box, and of course the members will have that as well. And then I also list all of this out in the weekly email. So if you don't get my weekly email, you can sign up for that on my website. And I have all that information down below in the YouTube description box. So these are collage pack. These are free downloads. That's free download. Okay. This was a brayer off sheet. Scraps from my table. And then these ones, I have to go through my library and see where I know I have these, but I couldn't find them right away. And I just want to make sure I still have them, because some of these are really old. They've been in my library for a very long time. And I will provide one of these sheets for you also in the subscriber library. And I need to check to see if I haven't already offered it. So lots of free stuff in the subscriber library. So I want to do a real abstract feeling, grungy feeling piece with my, kind of beach scenes over here. And have these will be the top layers, or mostly the top layers. Once I get all this grungy goodness down, then I can kind of come in and place these where I think I want them to go. I will be using some stencils. These will be on sale today. And I'm using all 5 by 8s today. This is actually a new 5 by 8. It's not a new stencil, but for whatever reason we did not have it as a 5 by 8, and we've been adding more and more of those to the 5 by 8 section. And it's just like script writing, and it's a mask. And then I've got my graphic letters stencils out here. And then I've got some dots because dots are always good. And what else do I have in my pile? So I said this was a 12 by 12, and I'll kind of go over the supplies really quick. Scissors, of course, palette knife. I will be using charcoal pencil. Maybe I'll throw in some soft pastels. Not sure. I'll be using some foam brushes or foam makeup brushes. Makeup sponge, wow, to stencil with. Then I have for paints, I have some sienna and I have some teal out, and I kind of base that off of a little bit of the papers. So this is more blue, and I want to introduce a little bit more teal. And I may stick with because this is a custom mix. I had regular teal and added black to it. And I got this color, which I absolutely love. This is just regular turquoise. And then cobalt teal is lighter. So somewhere in there, I will throw in some teal. I'm not exactly sure what value it will be, light, dark, or medium. And then raw sienna and white and black gesso. And then I also pulled out raw umber, of course, for more grungy. And then I did put some Payne's gray in there for maybe some really dark, subtle, kind of bluish tones. We'll see. And what else? I think that's all I really know right now until I get going. But I did pull out some kind of a few little pattern papers, neutrals. I needed some neutrals to kind of go in there because I don't want it to be totally chaos. Okay, so that's that. Now, palette knife, I got everything else. So let's talk about how I print on tissue paper. So this sheet here is cardstock. It's a lightweight cardstock. And depending on the type of printer that you have, and I use an inkjet printer. It is an HP 8700 printer. I've used it forever. I think it's 7740. I'll have that listed in the supplies list. But I've used it for years. It works wonderfully. I never get any bleeding, but I also only use HP ink. We tried to get the cheaper ink and it did not work. So I only use HP ink, but I never get any smearing. Ever. But I know a lot of people do, and I've walked them through what I do, and they've even used the same printer. So I am not sure. But when you do print, you can always just spray with a workable fixative. It'll set it and you'll be fine. And of course, do that on, outside ventilated area. You can print a whole bunch of papers and then spray them all and then bring them inside and use them, and they will work beautifully. So for my tissue paper, I have a cardstock. And it's a very lightweight cardstock. I don't remember the weight, like the pound, but there's really thick cardstock. This is not it. This is like a medium weight. But you have to check your printer to see what feeds through your printer the best. As much as your printer can take, do that, because the firmer this is. And I'm not saying really heavy duty, but having this firmer paper on as your backer helps it go through the printer perfectly. I never have any issues. I tried it on regular copy paper. That did not work. So you always use these, and I reuse them. As you can see, I've got little bits of tape sticking out here. I reuse them so that I'm not going through a ton of these sheets. So the the small batch of papers that I bought, white cardstock, and I'm sure I got it off of Amazon, worked really, really well and lasts a long, long time. So I tape this very edge here. This is the edge that feeds into my printer. So I call this the head first. Whatever goes in head first. This I want to tape all the way across. So, and this is just regular tissue paper. It's nothing special. This will work for wet strength tissue paper. This will even work for medical exam paper. You don't get as great an image because the medical exam paper has a little bit of texture to it. But it will work for both of those. Those are the ones that I have tried. So regular, typically for this, I usually use regular tissue paper. And I get the big sheets from Amazon. It's like gift wrapping tissue paper. And I think I might have, no, I have all of mine cut up now. But it comes in the big sheets that you can put in the gift bags and that kind of thing. And what I do is I cut them down to 8 by 10 size. Now this one's a little bit too big. And the reason I cut it down to 8 by 10 is because this is an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. So when I put this down, I've got some space here and I've got some space here, but I don't have enough space. Like I need space for the tape. So I'm going to cut this edge down. So I obviously didn't cut this one exactly right. So, okay, that's perfect. So I've got some space here and I've got some space here. And I'm trying to see, I think this is about the size of my paper. This paper towel is the size of my paper. And I just want you to see what I'm talking about. Oops. So I'm going to put this paper towel down just so that you can see. It's hard to see it on the white. It's a little big. Okay, so I have an edge all the way around. I need that edge so that I can tape. Okay, so just like this one, I have this edge all the way around. And then what I do, this is regular Scotch tape. I take small pieces like this because they're easier to manage. And I just start taping, and I want to come up to the edge here, but I do not want to have any tape coming over this edge at all, because if you do, it will jam. And then I just take another piece and tape, and then another piece, and tape it, just like that, all the way down. Making sure that all these edges are covered with my tape. My tape is firmly down. I have no tape sticking over the edge. If you ever have, like I feel like I can fill a piece. If you ever have that, come back and make sure to trim that off, because you don't want that getting stuck. It will, believe me, even the tiniest minuscule of tape, it will. I've done it 1,000 times. And tape this all the way across. And then I smooth it out, and I put a piece of tape here and a piece of tape here, and it's ready to go. Then, however your printer feeds, mine feeds head first, face down. Yours may be head first, face up, however that works for you. So I put my paper in like this, go to my computer, print out my image, it comes out looking just like this. And then I can come in and I can slowly remove the tape. Now, one thing you want to think about is you've got this edge that's got tape on it, so you want your image to be inside of that. Because if this ink gets on the tape, it just slides right off. You lose part of your image. So keep that in mind to shrink your image down enough that you've got room for tape. And then you're good to go. So a lot of times, as long as I don't have any printing or anything out here, I will just come and cut my image off like that. And then most of the time I do that over here too. But I can also come in and just pull this up. Do it gently because you don't want to tear your tissue. And then I can trim it however I want to trim it. And then it's good to go. And then I save this. I take the tape off. I make sure there's no other tape on here. Like I've got a couple pieces sticking out from something else I just printed. And then I reuse this. I have a bin next to my printer that has the backers and some tissue. So that's really helpful, and it helps me just, and a lot of times I'll have several prepared. When I have some downtime, which isn't very often, I will, make up several of these sheets so that they're just ready and I can run it through the printer. So now that I've got this sheet of tissue paper, when I put this down, the key element to making this go transparent is your fluid matte medium. So that is also one thing I will be using. And let me see if I have a piece out here that I can use. Okay, I didn't have a printed one already, but I'm gonna do something real quick so that you can see. So I'm gonna go okay, and I'm gonna cut this out. And yes, I know this is charcoal pencil, so it may bleed just a tiny bit, but that's okay. I'm going to bring over, and I will say this too, that when you're putting your tissue paper down on a solid, dark surface, you're going to get some halo effect. Any of the wet strength or the medical exam paper, on a dark surface, it's not going to be completely transparent. Just keep that in mind. So maybe you are covering over a little bit of it. Maybe you lighten up an area before you put your tissue paper down. But the key is lots of fluid matte medium. Too many people skimp. And they're like, I'm getting really cloudy images. And that's because you did not load up on your fluid matte medium. And so even now, I think that's not enough. And once you put your tissue paper into your medium, it's very fragile. So make sure you're putting it where you want it, because moving it can be very, very difficult. So I'm gonna start from the inside out. I'm gonna put a little bit more fluid matte medium here. And I'm doing a light touch. From the inside out, I'm going to work out. And then now I've got a lot of medium on there, which is good, which is normal. I'm going to come back and tap this up. Now, hopefully you can see this. Let me zoom in just a tiny bit. So there's a couple areas here that are not as clear as these areas over here. And that just means there either is fluid matte medium underneath there, which is okay. But you'll want to smooth that out just a little bit. But it has to be gentle at this point because you'll tear your design. And then if you're on a very textured surface, you have to work at pushing your tissue paper, because once it meets the surface of your substrate, whatever you're creating on, with the matte medium, that's what makes it go transparent. See, I just tore my tissue paper right there because I wasn't paying attention. So if you have a lot of wrinkles, that's pretty normal. But like right here, I want to tap that down so it makes contact with the surface. That's what helps it go transparent. But I have to be gentle. Okay. And then I'm just going to come back in now and tap this up very gently, because if I tap too hard, it will stick to my napkin, and then I will be sad. And then, so you can see how it's starting to go really transparent. Out here, I have a lot more matte medium, so that will dry fairly transparent. So let me get this dry really quick. Okay, so this is almost like, this isn't fully dry down here. This is fully dry, and I think you can see this white shadowy area right here. That's because I either didn't have enough matte medium there, or I didn't tap it down, because there's a lot of wrinkles right there. Same with over here. It's a lot of wrinkles, but this one isn't fully dry yet, so I'm pretty sure that's going to dry fairly transparent. The rest of this is good. I've got just these little bits out here that maybe I didn't have enough matte medium, or I just didn't get it tamped down enough. But you can see how nicely that transparent that goes. The key, your fluid matte medium. Don't skimp on it. And then soft touches, and making sure that the tissue paper touches, that has contact with that background, because if there's space in between, that's what creates this halo effect, or if there's not enough matte medium. So that is how I print on tissue paper, and then how I put my tissue paper down with getting good results. Now, it's never a perfect thing because of what it is, but it's good enough, at least for me, because so like if I have this image and I've got maybe this little area over here, I can always do a wash over it or something like that that completely disguises any of that. My main area is good, and that's all I'm worried about. And a lot of times I will cut down really closely to the image that I'm working with. That helps me get a clearer, more transparent image as well. Okay, so I hope that was helpful for you for our first of our technique sections for our Sunday inspiration. And I'm just making sure, I think I've told you everything that I need to know, or that you need to know. And okay, so I hope that tissue paper technique, how I print and how I put it down, is helpful for you, especially in today's project. If it goes the way that I planned, you never know. But I just wanted to honor my time away, and it's so important to take some time to rest and to just be. And that's exactly what my husband and I did. It's been a heck of a year already, and we needed just to be together and be to rest. And that's kind of why I got all the sun that I did, because we just laid and listened to the ocean, and I read, and I slept a lot. I rested. We both did. It's been a nonstop race for the last few months. So I'm very grateful that I had the chance to get away. And I hope that you can find some rest in your day, and maybe this is your rest by creating and watching. And I hope that is something for you, that you can just put pause on everything for a second and just be. All right, my loves, I will have all of the link to the subscriber library for the downloads. The supplies and everything will be listed on the blog. That link will be down below in the YouTube description box. And then I think that's all. Stencils will be on sale for you this week that I use. Okay, my loves, have a wonderful Sunday. I hope it's restful and peaceful, and I hope that you always, always know that you are loved.